we're going to just have everybody submit to Scholastic as a final exam. It won't hurt you. It won't help you. It's literally just turn in one of your pieces to join. Okay, I'm recording on that side. Let me share my screen on this side. Oops, wrong screen. Share this screen. All right. Officially recording. Solid. So your final exam is going to be entering at least one work into Scholastic. The deadline for Scholastic this year is going to be December 16th. It's not a terrible process. You have to set up this little account, enter an artwork, enter multiples, right? And if you're requesting the waiver, you can enter a lot. There's a lot of scholarship opportunities. This looks great on your college resume. There's all of these things that come with submitting to Scholastic. So we're all going to enter to Scholastic. I'm also going to be collecting works soon for a couple different exhibitions that are coming up. One of them is called Allstate. I have to be pretty selective on that one because we only have so many that I can submit. And then also the Roswell Visual Arts Center does a North Fulton High School exhibition, but Roswell has kind of changed what they do or what they expect. So we have to go, like, it has to be approved to be exhibited this year, which is new. So anyway, we'll cover that stuff later. But what you've got to do is think about your let me move this out of the way, maybe over here. You've got to think about your finalizing and end of semester process. Oh, Annika, I used yours from last class. We'll just use this one again. Okay, now selected work 1 should be done already. It should be documented. It should have the naming convention on it. It should be completed in the online documentation form. All of that in OneDrive. You should have selected work 1 already done and documented. Okay. If you are in that position, great. Okay. Because the next step for that, for this next progress report, is that you're going to take all of that information that exists in OneDrive and you're going to populate it into the portal. And today what I'm going to talk about is A, accessing the portal, but also B, making sure that the image is correct to go into the portal. Okay. A lot of times students have artworks. I used Ivy's last class. And the artwork, when you take the photo, is so enormous for one reason or another that it is not usable. So I'll show you that. Oh. And kind of take you through a couple different things today. Okay, so actually before I do this, first of all, you need to make sure that you have 3 selected works by the end of this semester into your OneDrive folder with the online documentation form, but also they're going to be populated in the AP portal. Okay, if you are someone like Annika last year who needed extra works because for whatever reason, over the span of currently, 12 weeks now, we haven't been able to finish enough. Okay, if you have been in this semester for 12 weeks and you do not have one single artwork that you have finished at all, I need you to reflect on yourself and start asking yourself why. Because we have been spending 12 weeks on what should be art making in some kind of way. So if you have not finished one piece, you are in deep, hot water. Okay, we have got to figure out what the holdup is and get yourself to finish some things. So this class in particular had several students who I do not see making artwork consistently day to day. Okay, so figure it out. be realistic because you only have, as of today, 18 hours of class. Not much time. Okay, are you not working at home? Are you needing to come in during V squared and work? Do you want to use your lunch in some way? I don't know, but you got to figure it out. All right. So if I'm Annika, I need to fill a hole, quote unquote, in my selected work portfolio. I have past works in my other class assignment portfolios that were successful and can check the box for College Board. Okay, if I'm that person, I can use a past work in selected work. It doesn't have to be your favorite. It just has to do the job. Okay, now there's some pros and cons. So in this case, with Annika's piece, this was a prompted assignment that we do in drawing 1. Everybody goes through this process. Compositionally, it's nice. Drawing technique, it's nice. You know, the proportions are right, blah, blah, blah. It's great to use in a portfolio, but it may or may not have a successful idea association because it's not something that you like really thought about the idea with. Will that nail you in College Board scoring? I don't know. Okay, but a lot of times the selected work pieces should be what you're successful with. Okay, they are demonstrating the skills in the portfolio. So if I pull up this and I went into the modules, I'm looking at the selected work module, and there's the rubric and terms right here. Okay, I'm looking at that, and I am noticing this criteria over on this side. Okay, but more specifically, the rubric, right? The terms. If I'm looking at those terms should be evident in the artwork. Okay, so back to this. You can use past work. The work needs to be technically strong, so all of your techniques are successful. It has to be documented a correct way, and it has to have the naming convention as well as the online documentation form. So if I were Annika, right, here's, oh, this was Larissa's, for example, from the other one, like we have the measurement, we have the materials, process, idea, image, citation, digital, whatever that new box is. We'll figure that one out, right? So all of that is step 1 in your scoring. Once you have gone through the stuff in OneDrive, then you can migrate those things over into the portal. So to access the portal, you can either sign into your MyAP account, or you can go into the modules and there's a link to it here. Okay, but once you get in the portal, you'll see that you have a sustained investigation and a selected works option. And then I think your side of the portal looks different than mine, but when you go in, you'll see images. And you'll see, yeah, you'll see, let me actually, I think if I pull it over here, yeah, the images area. And when you go down there, you'll notice that there's like an upload file box, and then there's text boxes. So you just populate those text boxes with the corresponding information that's coming out of your online documentation form. Let me make it super plain and obvious to you. Do not trust the portal. Okay, it is consistently trash. It will probably crash at some point. Okay, probably delete. It will possibly delete your work. It is a rage monster. Do not trust the portal. Do not do the work directly in the portal. Whatever you do, don't do it. Do the work in OneDrive, copy it into the portal. Okay, usually what I recommend is that when it's time to start populating things in the portal, you make yourself 2 little windows, one here, and then you just copy and paste. Okay, type, 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 copy, paste, type, 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 copy, paste. Make sure that the image document online documentation form is correct first. Don't do the typing in the portal. When you go to put this stuff in the portal, notice that you can only use 100 characters per box. So again, edit over here. There's a character count option on OneDrive, like on the Word document. So like if I select here, and I do this content, right, it will tell me how many characters down here. So there's lots of options, but you've gotta do the planning in OneDrive. The OneDrive is the beefiest part of the grade. The portal is more just like, check it's there or not. Okay, like minor grade process. Are there questions on the portal so far? It's pretty self-explanatory as a website. It's not good. At least it never has been. Maybe they fixed it after last year crashing and like everyone having panic attacks practically. It was a nightmare. It was awful. I've never seen it that bad. Actually, yes, I have. Never mind. It crashed once and didn't reopen until like 5 p.m. That was terrible. So the new file size format is 4 megabyte. I'm still getting people putting images in that are loading as this weird iPhone HEIC file format. I don't know what that is, but you can go into your settings and turn it off. So you need your file format to be a JPEG. Okay, so if I'm looking at Anika's, you can see it says .jpg. If it says iOS in the naming stem somewhere, it's more than likely an HEIC file. It cannot be any files format except a JPEG. So you'll want to go into your settings and change it so that it reads as a JPEG. Okay, your other option is to become best friends with a website like this. And you can just Google convert HEIC to JPEG, or literally the name of this website is HEIC to JPEG.com. And you just click to upload, choose the photos that you want it uploaded, and then once it chooses it, you can just tap on the image and it will download it again as a JPEG. Okay, one way or another, has to be a JPEG format, right? But in order to get something the right file size, I'm going to show you on Photoshop. So I'm recording it so that you can capture this again, watch it, the tutorial again at another time, or jot down tips. But I'm going to show you Photoshop because I know the software, and it's a really efficient software for a lot of reasons. So we're going to use Photoshop for this process. You can do it in other ways, I'm sure. But you can access Photoshop with your student account. So you just go to Adobe, just literally like in your search bar, do adobe.com. And then once you go to adobe.com, you sign in with your student account and you have access to the full Creative Suite through Adobe. You'll have to use a computer, right? Like it definitely is not, the mobile version is trash. But on Photoshop, let me open this for you. Okay. I'm going to start with this file since Ivy's I know was huge. Okay, here's the file, open. All right. So Ivy knows, we all know, this photo isn't a great photo. Ivy didn't take the photo to be a great photo. Ivy just took the photo to check the step in the grade book, right? But like in real life, you actually want to take a good photo. Let me show you an example of a trash photo. That one's not great, but at least it's straight. Here's an example of a not great artwork documentation photo. Okay, and a lot of times students in my like lower level classes, I love this, not empty at all. I just clicked on the photo. Love that. Good job, OneDrive. Maybe again. Ha, Okay, this is a garbage photo, okay? First of all, the artwork is not at all perpendicular to the camera. The camera needs to be pointing flat at the artwork. Second, why do we have so much of the drawing board and the artwork hasn't even been removed from the drawing board yet, et cetera, et cetera. Third, there's a weird like head shadow situation going on here. Okay, if it were really rough, then there would be like, it looks like your phone camera is kind of like dipped in mayonnaise or something. It's like greasy looking. Like, clean your phone camera. Make sure you have level lighting. Make sure it's got clean lighting. It's not like this weird orange, single tungsten light bulb flashlight kind of light, like gross. Okay, and then also if I'm taking this photo, at least this one I know has like the white of the paper on it. But you would probably want to include in the photo process a little bit of like computer paper white up against or behind the artwork, peeking out a little bit, so that when you go to white balance it, you're sure that you have white to work with. Okay, so this is an example of a not good photo. Set yourself up for success. Take the photo well, right? Like this one has like that weird haze, poor lighting situation. At least it's straight, but like for the sake of documentation in progress, Ivy didn't care. I don't care, but I'm just using this photo because I know it's huge and it doesn't have great lighting. Okay, all right, so we've taken the photo. Step one is go into Photoshop. You're going to open the photo and then you're going to go to image and image size. Okay, when I click on image size, I have to look at what's going on here. I can see right away, see how this says 58.6 megabytes? Okay, that is a huge photo. Usually that's not a big issue, but for the sake of the AP portal, it's a major problem. The portal will not accept anything that is bigger than 4 megabytes. This one is over 50. It's huge. Okay, so you've got to compress the file down, and you can do that in a couple different ways, but you have to keep in mind that a file is like a soda can, right? When you first originally take the photo and it is in your phone, it is a can of Coke that has never been opened. As soon as you move the photo somewhere else, you have opened the can of Coke. And each time you save the photo, you are continuing to drink out of the can of Coke. Once you compress the size and you change it to a JPEG, you have chugged the Coca-Cola, thrown it on the floor, and stomped on it. You are never getting it back. Okay, so you have got to save this as a different thing so that I can always get back to the original photo as big as it possibly was from the beginning. So I'm going to go to File, Save As, just going to choose to save it on my computer. And then I'm going to, in the front of my naming stem here, just say small, or I could put portal, or I could do whatever. But I'm just going to save it in a way that's named, that gives me a second version of the file that is smaller, right? That way I can edit this thing and do whatever I want to it and not lose material. So like right now, this is already down to 6.3 megabytes just because I'm changing it to a JPEG in Photoshop. Okay, so step one, check the size. If it's way too big or whatever, I just honestly, my step one is to resave the file as a smaller version and then work on the smaller version. Okay, that way I maintain a clean, undoctored photograph somewhere else that I can always get back to. All right, so I'm going to go image, adjustments, levels. Okay, I need to do some work on this photo. Now, again, this isn't a great photo to start with. Don't try to, it's okay. Don't try to fix a bad photo. Just retake the photo. Okay, if you took the photo and your head is in the lighting and it was like gross lighting color and it's blurry and all the issues, just retake it. Like if you can't get a good lighting situation at your house, bring it to school. We can take it here. I can help you take it together, but just retake a good photo as much as possible. Okay. But once I'm in levels, I can choose this white dropper and I can select something that I know is white. Okay. If I'm looking in this picture, I know you probably can't see it, but like down in the very bottom here, I can see something that's actually white. And if I take the white dropper and click on that, see how it changed the color cast a little bit? That usually will help white balance. Usually if you're taking the photo and you put the piece of like white computer paper just off to the side down here, before I crop it, I can use my white dropper, choose that to be white, and it usually will fix the lighting in the composition of the photo and not damage the actual artwork. Lucy, if you need to use the drill, just use the drill. You're not, it's like a quick little, instead of you sitting there trying to twist that thing, just use the drill. It's fine. You're okay. Anyway, white balancing should be relatively easy. If you do the white balance and then you realize like, oh man, this artwork looks so much better, rework the artwork, take a new photo. It is not ethical to modify the artwork to look really good in Photoshop and it not be authentic to the artwork. Okay. So anyway, you can use these slider bars to adjust the artwork if you need to. So like I can take some of this blowout out of here and like slide these around. Again, I'm trying to fix a photo that's hazy and like ineffective anyway. So, but it can help. Sometimes artworks are tough to document. If you're having a hard time, let me help you. Bring them in. We can look at them together. I can help you with that. Okay. Questions on white balancing and using levels. That's pretty straightforward so far. We're good with that? Okay. The next step is to change your image size. So I'm going to go to image size, and now I need to address this 58.6 megabytes. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into these inches area and I'm going to change the inch sizes around. So I'm just going to say, let's choose 18. Okay, that gets me down to 3.72. That's under 4 megabytes. I could stop there. But honestly, I know that Photoshop compresses a little bit more when I save. So I'm going to go down to like 22. It's at 5.56 megabytes, which is a decent size. Okay. And then when I go to file and save, okay, I'm going to do file, save as on my computer, choose JPEG, put in the naming convention. I'm going to hit save. Yes. And now it's asking me about my JPEG options, right? I can scroll this around to change my JPEG saving, but this is compressing it down to 1.5. Okay, honestly, that's pretty small. And from there, I now have a file that I can actually upload that is small enough for the AP portal. The closer you stay to 4 megabytes, the better, just because it's going to keep resolution quality. But I could change my resolution in the image information here. So if I change the resolution to like 300 dpi, that's going to change things drastically. But you don't need to change the resolution. 72 is for screen quality, which is fine. Okay, so sizing is important. We have to make sure that the file size is under 4 megabyte, and you have to make sure that when you are putting it in the portal, it is done. Please, under no circumstances should you load artwork that is incomplete into the portal. Okay, it's not worth the time. Just take the L if you don't have it. But frankly, really think about what can you do at this moment in time to get to 3 by the end of the semester. So if you need to think through making yourself a calendar or a schedule or whatever, don't fall into the very alluring trap of saying, oh, well, I'll have all this time on Thanksgiving break. It's not a good idea. Be pragmatic with the minutes that you have assigned to you, and make some choices accordingly. But what you've got to do really is just think about, with your selected works, what pieces are going to do the job. So again, if I'm Annika, and I just picked this one because I knew Annika had one in there. I did Larissa's last period too. Like there's a lot of people who use past works in their portfolios. As long as it has not been assessed by College Board in some other portfolio type, you can use it. So make sure that you're aiming toward 3. I can't remember what, Annika, what did you put for the idea on this piece?
This is my doing stuff. I was don't.
The charcoal one.
I think I was just saying like, I want to talk about values.
Yeah, right. So like it's important. College Board is looking for ideas associated to artworks. They also know when a student is like using an academic assignment, and you can do your best to put an idea in there, but the fact of the matter is, if it's not something that you like develop this idea research on, it's just not gonna work. See how much better that was? So for this, your goal really is, you don't want to rely on past works, but you can absolutely use them. It's a way to play the game so that you can open yourself up to more time for experimentation. Okay. But I'll show you, like last year, every year, I always have people who use past works in their selected work folders. So like this one shows up a lot. If you did drawing 1, this is a great thing to put in. Anything that's past work. If it's an intro project, it's probably not a good choice because you're learning just basic techniques in intro, but you could use it, I guess, if you needed to. So again, 3 selected works by the end of the semester is the goal. Please use past works. That's totally fine. If you need more time on pieces that you have, you can always switch things out, right? So in the spring, if you're like, okay, I finished, 4 different works now, I want to swap things around in my AP portal, do it. Totally fine. But for now, you want to make sure that you've got all your selected works in this folder. So just as a last reminder, the only thing that goes into your selected work folder is a finished selected work. So like Erin had the beginnings of this painting, and that because I wanted you all to like go through the process of loading an image, doing the naming convention, whatever. So like Erin will just need to swap this incompleted painting in this folder for the finished one when we get there. Okay, but only in selected work folders should I see finished work with the naming convention on it. And that by finished work, that is cropped, white balanced, all the things that are on, where is it? This fall semester submission requirements. This document has everything you need to know about uploading. Remember, I can't help you if you don't talk to me. Please reach out, let me help. All the terms are in here. And then the guidelines for loading your selected works. You have the naming convention. The portfolio number should be what section of the portfolio it is going into. So SW1 for selected work, or SI1 for sustained investigation. We haven't even talked about sustained investigation, really. So like SW1, 2, and 3 should be the names of those 3 pieces going in. An ultimate success and flex would be by the time we leave for Thanksgiving break, you have 3 works populated in selected work folder and the AP portal, because that opens you up to the liberty of experimentation through sustained investigation. If you have 3 that you can just put in, knowing that you might want to change them, do it. Okay, but make sure that they align with the principles of your portfolio type. What else do you need to know? Are there any questions on the Photoshop process? I can go back to that if I need to. I honestly, I don't know what storage change it makes in your iPhone, but if I were in your shoes, I would just go into your settings and change it from saving files in whatever HEIC is. That way you don't even have to worry about the conversion process. Oh,
Have it saved in your photos, in your files, and then,
interesting.
or that might just be because I don't know if I have the setting turned on or not for if it automatically.
Yeah,
I think I do.
mine does not save as that HEIC file. I must have taken it off some time
I
ago.
did, so I think pasting it into it auto converts and you upload it to OneDrive.
Yeah.
So I do that because like it saved it 3 times, so there's no way I can do that.
Yeah, I like a little plug just in general. I don't know if you guys know or remember Danny, but last year Danny lost files at one point. And even though for years I'm like telling every human I see in my classes that you have got to put what you're working on in OneDrive, Danny flew too close to the sun and was only saving in whatever paint software or whatever they were using. And the computer completely crashed and they lost all of their progress on this digital painting. And it was like meltdown worthy, which I don't blame. Like, that's very sad. But now Danny messaged me the other day and was like, oh, here's what I'm working on. Things are going well. Oh, I still have to use naming conventions, by the way. And I was like, I told you, they're never going away. Anytime you turn something in for a professor, anything, they're going to make you name that file in a way that they need it organized. But a little word of advice to all of you is to have a different location besides OneDrive that you just periodically back up to. Like, do the work in OneDrive and then make sure you have also saved those files that somewhere that isn't on your computer. Because your computer could always crash and then, somehow, like, I think it happened to Larissa, right? Where it like just deleted files somehow, like somehow the files that were in OneDrive, you moved out in some way. Computers are fun. But it's what we've got. It's how College Board is requiring us to upload, and it's the reality of what we have to do. So we've got to follow the prompt of College Board and what they're asking. What else? What else? There was something else. White balancing, cropping, portal. Okay, so by Friday, ideally, you are populating something into the portal. That way I can answer some questions before we go out into the weekend. And then I get these like frantic 2 a.m. emails that I'm not going to see because I don't check my email over the weekend. Then they're like, I can't, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. I can correct grades on Monday, but I'm going to start grading before I leave Friday. So please, 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 as soon as you can, get some things loaded in the portal so that I can get through the beginnings of getting that checkpoint put in. And for this next progress report, it's just populating, well, correcting anything that you need to in OneDrive, the image, the naming convention, the online documentation form. And now loading that information into the portal for selected work 1. If you have more than one of them to do it. Like take a break from producing, load as many things as you can. Anyone who is seasoned in AP will definitely tell you that the documentation part is the worst part. And it takes way longer than you think it would. So don't put that part off. We're definitely going to go through that process this round. Yeah, no questions? Does that make sense? Everybody's okay? We're not confused on what to do, how to do it, where to put it, any of that? I can't believe that we go to Thanksgiving break Friday next week. We have 5 next week, I guess. So 8 days to Thanksgiving break. Yeah. Yeah. It's 2 weeks before Thanksgiving break and then 2 weeks after Thanksgiving break. That last week is that weird finals situation. Yeah.
I don't like this.
Where does time go?
Let's go yell at College Board and say, give us more weeks.
More weeks. No questions. We're all okay. Y'all? Okay, I'm gonna stop recording then. I'll put this up with the other. Maybe you're gonna let me. I'm just gonna record forever, right? More. Record and transcribe. Stop recording. There we go. Bye.